In this module, we are still on fingerprint comparison. We started in the last module and we discussed extensively on how to compare fingerprint to have a match uh, exclusion.
Today we want to go, when you have fingerprint, last week what we used, two fingerprints belong to the same group, that is the same family. We have three groups, three primary groups: arch, loop, and wall. And each one of them can be further classified into subgroup. Now, if you have a standard, and the standard if you have a standard and the standard belong to arch, and this questioned print belong to another group like a loop or, then you don't need to follow that. The work will have to stop there. But if you have two fingerprints, I mean the standard and the questioned, if both of them belong to the same group like we have on the screen, maybe loop, that you determine that by the way the movement of the ridges. For example, here we have most of the inner ridges coming from one side and going out of the side. So, and that one is true for the two of them. So both of them belong to the same group that we call loop. Now, after determining that they belong to the same group, then you can go further. Then last week, what we used to demonstrate was two fingerprints, two prints from the same group, and both of them are full print. They are full print because they cover almost all the entire of the first tip, the first part of the fingertip. Whereas they are print from the crime scene or from the document, from a question document that may have a partial print. What is a partial print? A partial print is a print that doesn't cover almost the entire area of the first part of the fingers. So that they may be like half or less than half of the whole area that we were able to recover from the crime scene or on the document that is suspicious. So that kind of fingerprint is partial. If you have something of that nature, what do we do? How do we go about it? That is what you want to that is what you want to demonstrate. That's part of what to demonstrate this afternoon. Now, we said each time you have examination to be done, the first thing is to determine if the fingerprint is good to be read, if the lines are okay, if they are feasible and not, if the features, the read characteristics are feasible. If they are feasible enough, then you can go ahead. If they are not, you drop it because you want to have anything to. Now, let's move ahead and demonstrate how we can match two fingerprints that where we have partial print. Now, if you look at your screen, the one at the print at the right hand is partial, and this one by left hand is full. So the on the full,
we have a depth and we have a core. Whereas
on the one that partial, this the right one, the right hand one, we don't have any data because the data there has been mutilated. It's not part of it. So and some other ridges also. So we're not present. So for us now to compare the two, what do we do? We said last week that an important tool for us to do our work on to fingerprint is features of ridges, that is the characteristics. And we said the characteristics are those Gatton points, those um, the features like bifurcation, like trifurcation, like ridge ending, like island, like enclosure, and so on and so forth. Like data, like core, like ridge count, all those things we take into consideration. We mark those points. And how do we do it? There are three ways by which you can do it. There are three ways. We're going to mention two from the manual, one from a automatic. Now, the first thing that you will get the print, that fingerprint printed on an A4, the standard printed on an A4 and enlarged to about 200%. The same thing will be done for the question print. So now both of them are already enlarged. In this case, you may not need magnifier. You may not, because they are already enlarged to what your eyes can see very well as far as you have good sight. Now you begin to have begin to mark them with different markers, different color markers of different color. For example, you have a feature. Well, maybe after analyzing them and you know that you have bifurcation, you have ridge endings, you have enclosure, you have all those. So you know you are expecting about 7 or 8 or as many features that you want to mark. You know them. So you just take your markers with different color. Bifurcation a color, or everywhere that you see bifurcation. Let's go ahead and demonstrate it. Every bifurcation, for example, you give it color. Anyway, let's start from, in this print we have core. Let's start from that. Now, core is an important part of any print. So you have, let's place our core here.
Here also.
Let's place our core here.
Here we have data. This is our data. So we use blue color for our core and data. Here on the question print, you don't have data, so you leave that one. Let's go ahead and mark bifurcation with red color. Here we have bifurcation. Here we have another bifurcation. This is another bifurcation. Here we have another, this is a bifurcation. This is another bifurcation. This is another bifurcation. Yes, this is bifurcation. This is another bifurcation. Where can we see? Yes, this another bifurcation. Then we have, let's go to the other one and mark bifurcation there. You have bifurcation here. Let's mark it with red. Bifurcation here with red. You have bifurcation here. This another bifurcation. This another bifurcation. This bifurcation. Then what else do we have? We have a ridge ending. Let's mark ridge ending with green color. This is ridge ending. This is another ridge ending. This ridge ending. Let's go and mark an ridge ending here. This is ridge ending. This is ridge ending. This is ridge ending. This is another one. So because of our time, this is how we, let's stop there. This is how we mark all the features that we are able to identify. So you mark all those features. Then after marking the feature, then you consider the point. There are some, the presence of the feature is one of those things that we consider the presence of those features in the two that we are comparing and their locations, their position in the entire area that we are comparing, and their orientation. These are the things that we consider. If those things are the same, then we can say they are from the same print. They look, for example, we have enclosure here. This is an enclosure. We have enclosure here also. Now let's look at this enclosure. Let's consider the position of this enclosure to this core. What is the distance? Look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have about 7 ridges between them. Here also we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 7 from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have seven ridges between each of them. 7 ridges between each of them, and you can see the first bifurcation before this core. You have another bifurcation on the following line, and the other line also immediately after it is, you have also bifurcation. And if you consider the width of each of these bifurcations, they are the same in size. You can see their thickness are the same. Then look at the bifurcation we have here also down in the standard. You have a bifurcation here. If you count 1, 2, you see another bifurcation. Here the same thing. 1, 2, you see another one. Then here also you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5. Then if you count 5 here also, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you have another, so they are in the same location, the same numbers of bifurcation on the same side, and the location. I mean, the orientation of this the way they are positioned are the same. So this is how to compare the two, and then after that one we go on to evaluation. After we have done our comparison, then we go on to evaluate whether we have enough of this to determine that they are from the same finger. They may be from the same finger, I mean from the same hand, but not from the same finger. So far, they have all those features. That the second level, um, the first level is to determine whether they belong to the same group. The second level is those features. Then we still have another feature, another third level, which are the pore. If you're able to extend it and you're able to see the pores there, the thickness of those, the thickness uh, of the features of the ridges. Compare the thickness of the ridges. For example, now when you see the thickness of this one, if this one, look at how thick this one is. If the other one here are so thin, then something is wrong. If you look at this one, look at the thickness compared to this one, you can see that they are the same. Then look at the ridges. The ridges, the way their movement, their movement. If you consider this one from here to here, the way this thing curve is the same the way this one curve. So all those things, they are number three ridges. Then you have some broken ridges, broken ridges. Look at it where you can see them. Look at broken ridges here. The numbers broken ridges, you have the same here. Look at this line. This line is probably an injury, a scar of an injury. Look at the line that cross. It's not that they actually broke, but it is the scar that divide them. This is not regenerating. This is all this one are not regenerating, but they are continuation of the same line. The same line. Each one of them are their continuation of their respective lines. The same thing you have here. So if you have the same, those things are part of what you consider and say these are from the same, that you have a match. Now let's move ahead. And I want to tell us something before we move ahead, because of the fact that fingerprint examination is subjective. It's not an exact science. Therefore, it is your result is subjective. That is, somebody else can still work on it to help you to determine. And on another examiner, you must give your word to another examiner to confirm that what you have done is exactly what he also got, the result that he got. So that one will help you. Peer review is one of those things that we use in fingerprint, but we'll talk more on that one later when we discuss about expert report. Now, there are cases where you have a fingerprint that the question fingerprint, maybe from the crime scene or on a document that is not visible, that is not clear. In that case, you cannot go ahead and do the work. You have to stop there. But that you might have at least charge them for your work. That one will not stop you from taking your fee, because you might have given them the requirements to work on those things. So if what they brought to you is just partial print, and you have to try your best on it to make sure it is that you enhance it. If you enhance it and it's not clear enough, then you can't do anything than to stop it, and your result will be inconclusive, because you can't use it to make any determination. Another method you can use, apart from enlarging the prints on A4 papers, is that you can capture them with a digital device like your scanner machine, or your digital photograph, digital camera, sorry. Then you send them to the system. And in some cases, you send them to the system, and then you use some software. There are some software you can use. Example of one of the software is Adobe software. Adobe software. Adobe software is very good in the same thing we did in the way we demonstrated the one we just did now. You can use Adobe Photoshop to do the same thing. In fact, in Adobe software, you have a lot of colors. So uh, as 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 much as you have in the features, as much features that you can have as much color that you can use to paint them differently, so that you won't use one color for two features for clarity's sake. So at the same time, so you send them to the system and you do the matching just the same way we did our own, the same way you do it manually on the paper using different markers. You have tools on inside the Adobe software that you can use to mark them. You mark them, then you label them. Just like you have a chart, you label it in a way that somebody that is not an examiner will look at it and understand it. Maybe your client or the at the court, they can read your report without you being there and understand what the information you are passing across to them. For example, where you have red color for bifurcation, then you have to indicate it on the paper that B, I mean, or red color indicate bifurcation. And in some cases, you may not even use color. You may just write B on everywhere where you have bifurcation. Then you indicate down that B means bifurcation. R means ridge ending. C means color. Call. D means data. You can use that one also. Just use something that another person can see and interpret without you being there. Interpret it easily without you being there. So after that one, then you print your result out. Another method is using software that is created purposely for that, for matching. There are a lot of this software that you can purchase uh, from their manufacturer or their um, from their programmer. Now, this software, even though the end result of their work may be the same, but the way they work may be different. They have different capabilities and different features. That you have, just as you have different features on your mobile phone. So when you purchase them, try as much as possible to look at the capabilities and the features in them. In fact, they have manual. You can go to their site before you buy them and download their trial version and use them for a period of time before you buy the one you want. You may use like 2 or 3. After that one, you make your determination to buy the particular one that you love to use. So this software has been integrated with a database, the database that we refer to as a automatic fingerprint identification software. So this database, this software is already integrated with the database. So what you have inside the database, already you have the standard that have been collected from some suspect or for some people in some country, depending on the country, the country's law. Some countries' law will not allow you to collect fingerprint from anybody unless that person has been indicted, or in some cases maybe that person has been convinced convicted as a criminal. So you can take the law enforcement agent can take the fingerprint of such kind of a person because he's already a criminal. And in some countries, anybody, if you go to the law may determine that everyone's fingerprint may be taken. Maybe as far as you are coming to the government to do one thing or the other. So depending on the law of the country, even when there's a suspect in our nation here in Nigeria, if there's a suspect and so many other nations of the world, if you want to take fingerprint of a suspect, you need to give him a form that he will sign that he consent to show his consent to that to the taking of that fingerprint to his finger because the fingerprint is personal properties is personal identity is part of you encroaching his privacy his or her privacy if you take it without his consent. So for you not to be at the other side of the law, then you have to make sure that you pass through the normal thing, that is you collect the fingerprint of any suspect that you want to use if you don't have a database. Even if you have a database, the way you collect the database must be in accordance with the law of the nation where you are operating. So the I said there are a lot of fingerprints. If you look at your screen, you see this is a sample of a fingerprint the fingerprint matching uh, software that we call Masha, and there are a lot of them. So each one of them has instruction on how to operate them. So we are not going to dwell on that one, but I will just show us how it can be uploaded, how fingerprint can be uploaded in it. If you have fingerprint in your database, I mean on your system that is not actually in the database, you upload it like this. You click on the left, the one you want to use as standard, you upload it. It's uploading. Yes. This then the one you want to use as the question one, you upload it also, and it will be side by side, just at the same way we did the manual one. And some software we require you to calibrate the two of them before you start working. Now, if the software is already integrated with a database, you have to go and click on Affix. You click on Affix, it will take you to that place and go and pull uh, it will go and pull the information, that the fingerprint that is inside the database, and match it with the one that you just insert inward. So this is where we are going to stop today. I will send some material to you, fingerprint chart. I will send it to you. Then I will send some material for some fingerprint to you so that you can use to practice for matching. So you use that one to practice on how to match. Try as much as possible to uh, to mark those characteristics that are the same in those ones that are the same, and if there's anyone that are not the same, by the time you do your marking, you can say this one is not from the same finger or this one is from the same finger. Try as much as possible, because without you doing it practically, you may not be able to say you know how to do it. So even if you want to teach people, you still need to know about the practical. Then as a lawyer, you must know how to do it, because you have people that will be coming to you on document issues. And if you have anyone that want to learn it, please let us know, because the more we are, the better it is. Uh, in some cases, you may have a case in the court, and the uh, opposing lawyer will be asking you that have you done peer review on the job that you are bringing to court. If you say no, that one may be the only thing that the court may use to set your opinion aside. So the more we have, the more it is. So as we have more people that can do it, then even when you have, it will get to a stage where you have too much work, you can give your work to somebody to do it. So if you have anybody that still want to uh, pass through this course, please let us know. In the next class, the next module, we are going to discuss on expert opinion, how to give testimony on fingerprint, and some other thing that revolve around the court issue. This is where we are going to stop today. Be expecting the materials. Thank you. Bye bye.